That's an industry-sponsored lobby and research outfit that says that everything's fine with shale drilling. So there's a lot of this kind of stuff going around. And this one study is, it's got Penn State's logo on it, but it was created by, the Marcellus Shale Coalition, in which they say everything is fine. The Department of Energy put out a report that says, everything is fine. And they acted in the report as if the exemptions to the Safe Drinking Water Act, Clean Water Act, were still in effect. I mean, as if those acts were operating. So there's a lot of deception going on about this. So you have to be careful. And when you hear more about it, just do a gut check and think about what Steph Hallowell said and what Ron Lewis said and what's in the film, and you'll understand that this is not going fine. If there was going fine, you would use this massive PR.
Can I follow up on that? Because I have to tell you, I was completely shocked when I went to this DEP hearing about the TDS standards and having industry people stand up and say, well, you're using secondary standards for drinking water, taste and smell. It's perfectly safe to drink, but it tastes like shit and it smells like shit. Sorry, okay? And more recently, at the PEC conference, there was a lawyer representing the Delaware consortium who said that it's only fair you gave a free ride to coal. Okay, I mean, this is the mentality. I'm sorry. And then, I'm originally from New York, and add insult to injury that Chesapeake, and I guess I can use that, filed permits to take Pennsylvania crack water and put it in the Finger Lakes. So, this is the kind of thing. Now, to follow that up, there are over 50 companies currently permitted to drill in the state of Pennsylvania. And most of them belong to the Marcellus Coalition. So it's a very, very large organization. We need every one of you to talk to your representatives at the state level and even at the federal level, because it is so important that they hear from you. Okay? I'm a pain. Okay? I let them know. Okay? Well, no, right now we have to deal with who we have. Okay? And right now, even that, if you want to play politics, the money is out there. There was just a study that was just published in the last couple of weeks, how many hundreds of thousands of dollars the drilling companies are pouring into the state election coffers.
I think it's also worth noting about the study that we're talking about is they counted all these economic benefits, and I just don't know how many meetings I've been at where everyone's like, what jobs? They utilize this mobile workforce, they bring them in from out of town, and then they leave town, and no one local gets hired. It's very, the economic benefits are very misleading, and I think that everybody who's, dealt with this issue at the community level is really seeing that.
Unfortunately, we're running near the end of our time together, but I did want to point out that we do want to try and keep collecting questions, because our intent is to pass these questions off to our panelists even outside of this room, have them respond to them, and post them in an area that everybody can go and view them, so that your question wasn't asked, you can still get an answer to it. So I'm going to end with one final question that I'm sure many people want to know, and it's directed at Josh, which is, where can I buy a copy of GasLand, or should I say Wagon?
Here's the thing. We have this incredible thing happening with HBO. It's the biggest, fastest way to get the movie out. Many people bought it. We put it out in theaters, we put it out on DVD. You guys, nothing compares to the fact that it's going to go out into 40 million homes, and 2 or 3 million of them will watch it on one evening. The best thing to do is to take advantage of that. If you have HBO, and invite people over to watch it. The grassroots tour will continue. We're going to keep doing these kinds of events because, look, it's like practically a G-rated movie. This panel, I'm not so sure. Really exciting to have this part of it happen. So that's important to me. And you know that we're able to come together and actually do this part of it. You know. So when we're showing the movie again in the fall, we'll do this part of it again too. The DVDs I think are not until December. December 1st. Christmas. But I guess what I'm saying is that the best thing to do is going to be on HBO. Tell people about it. Have a party. You have HBO. Invite people over. That was the choice that we made, rather than something that would have been slower release. But music is going to be a dynamite thing in people's homes. So. Oh yeah, you can watch PBS Now that I was on. There's an interview. Cool. There's a few clips there. I did want to say if there are organizers in the audience that had something more to add or want to jump in, I would love to hear just maybe like 20 seconds from a person here or there in the audience who did make it onto the car. Is that all right?
Yeah, someone's going to have to come up, of course, we don't have those ones. Okay, so I brought a piece of a training, organizing training, butcher paper, newsprint, butcher paper, like an organizer. So we visualize, I'm part of the Keystone Environmental Youth Coalition. My name is Alex Porto. I just want to give a shout out to everyone here, sitting in the middle. We're a giant student coalition of student groups around the state at campuses and high schools and colleges. And we recently had a retreat in Pittsburgh here at the University of Pittsburgh, developed a campaign called Fracking Quit It Already. And this is a visual of kind of how it works. So fracking, and just like war and other horrible things in our world, is like an institution, right? And institutions have structures. And so this is coming from the Midwest Academy, which is a strategy, campaign strategy organization. Obama was, trained in, but forgot, I guess. So there are like 6 pillars to this. Let's pretend there are 6 pillars to this institution. There are 6 ways to beat it, and we talked about legislation, working in the lobby, and things that we can do. Enforcement, community enforcement. We can do these things directly. We can talk to our neighbors. We can find out what's going on in their land and take a look. There's lawsuits. Time up in Aaron Brockovich, right? Like that movie. Time up in lawsuits. There's the financial sector. Now, this is coming from coal. We're beating coal. It's a paradigm shift in our country. We beat coal. Coal no longer is seen as clean, unless you're Obama, right? I'm pointing it out. So a very strong paradigm shift, like we're doing right now in this room. We need to start to make sure that people are thinking about the dangers of gas. And that will ultimately, because this is the most important infrastructure of these companies, the most expensive infrastructure of these companies, their investors will leave and they'll stop, right? And this is to beat their profits, right? So all these things, if their profits stop, they stop. And this can happen without a moratorium, which we can't always rely on because guess what? Both gubernatorial candidates receive a ton of money from the industry. So we can't rely on legislation all the time and enforcement. The enforcement comes from the governor's office. And guess what? There were 1,500 wells drilled since 2005 in Pennsylvania. 4,000 of those wells were considered for permit. 3,000 were given, and there were over 700 inspections. 400 of those 700 inspections yielded violations of the existing laws. And the governor, you know how many permits were denied by Governor Rendell? 14 out of 3,200, 3,000, over 3,000, and that's what we're facing. So we have to take direct action. And there's that's the last pillar. And I just got back from Ithaca, New York, in Finger Lakes National Park, and I met with Earth First, a group of just a movement of folks that think that the earth and people and human costs and earth costs are a priority. Our property values go down when this drilling happens, right? We see this all over the state. When industries get up and leave, what happened? What's Lawrenceville? What are the houses priced relative to what they were priced a long time ago? The housing values go down. This is stuff that's left. Conservatives can get behind this. I'm from Pike County, Pennsylvania, one of the reddest counties in Pennsylvania, and I organized with the Pike County Youth Coalition